What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line in the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we are back today with another episode of Fett's Vette, and one that I'm actually really looking forward to for the first time in a little while. Being that we're getting ready to do the same weathering approach that we did on the cowl a couple episodes ago, and we're going to do that here on the fuselage, I'm actually pretty excited about the approach. Now, I've been having a thought how we're going to approach this model, and you know, one of the things that I was thinking is, you know, when we're weathering it, I want to weather it down to the point where, you know, it's probably, maybe 5 years before Empire Strikes Back, somewhere in that neighborhood. The weathering isn't super too heavy yet. Not like we saw in Book of Boba Fett, where it's just basically almost bare metal at that point. But, somewhere in the neighborhood of like Empire Strikes Back, where we have a little bit more color, but there's definitely a bunch of weathering happening. So, to repeat or to refresh what we did for last time, what we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some of our thinner down across the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my stiff edge weathering brush, and I'm basically just going to kind of come in and scrape. And that's it. And I'm just going to try to find some areas that make sense. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our sponge brush afterwards, and we're going to clean it off. I'm going to take a little bit of that pigment that we pull off here. We're going to rub it onto the areas that are the base coat gray up here in that area. And then we're just going to kind of, like I said, go around and focus on seeing how well we do. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yeah, this one's been pretty cool. I have some ideas for the next round of paint for this one. And, there's a reason why we're going to kind of go to that Empire Strikes Back sort of era. And we'll get into that as we get there in the next episode, because that's when we're going to start doing some of our oil and soot and some of our actual weathering work with our weathering masters from Tamiya. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm also going to be employing some Vallejo pigments as well. So let's go ahead and get some of our... Goodness me. Let's go ahead and get some of our thinner onto a sponge. Go and dampen that. Kind of rub that off a little bit. And we're just going to kind of focus down on this lower area here. Let that settle for just a quick sec. Going to get my brush into there. Going to go and get my towel on the table. And let's see what we got. Yep. Same sort of effect. Very good. Well, this paint is a little bit softer. And I wonder if it has to do something with the fact that I used a pigment in with the air paint when I did that. Something to think about. But this is very much giving me the effect that I'm looking for. Just trying to pull up some of our paint here and leave some of it behind, specifically along panel lines. I'm going to go ahead and blur my edges here real quick. Just kind of focus around areas where it would make sense for the Vette to have that weathering, like along the front here. Imagine that the patterns would be kind of windswept, and so I'm trying to like pull in this sort of motion back. Once again, I'm just pulling off whatever I can off the surface. If I happen to pull down to base coat, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot. Let's kind of get a little bit more down from down here in the corner. And I'm just kind of roughing the edge up here. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take my brush here and just kind of pull some of that excess paint through. Dab that off. Alright, yeah, I like that. Nice, it turned out good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next area. We go to the main body, the main part of the fuselage here. This is where we're going to be doing a lot of work. I don't know. This technique somehow is working for me. Let me go ahead and slide our other piece off to the side here real quick. So I can get a little bit better of an angle so I can see it. And at first I'm just going to kind of pull whatever low-hanging fruit, so to say, that I might be able to get, just by lightly brushing the top. I want to leave this panel weathered specifically around the edges more aggressively around the edges. I'm going to just pick some areas where I'm going to leave color kind of high. And I'm going to do that kind of along this area here. I'm not going to focus too much on weathering around there. There's a reason for that, and we'll get into that in the next episode. And this effect actually is really kind of working for what I'm looking for here. Just kind of lightly going over the top and kind of pulling paint off. I'm picking a spot and kind of randomly scrubbing it down. Yeah, it turned out good right there. Kind of gave it like a streaky effect. Okay. Learning some techniques here for this little thing that I've done. I don't know if this is the thing we're actually supposed to do, but I don't know. I'm just doing it, and it works, given the effect that I want. And once again, I want to match styles. You know, like thinking about taking this one to Wonderfest. So something that I know would be paid attention to. I'm going to leave the paint clean behind the cowl here because there's a window that's going to go there. So I'm going to keep that clean because it's going to be behind the paint, or behind the window. Okay, is that good? There we go. Just kind of hitting at random angles and kind of a lot of high paint up through here, so I'm going to kind of pull that through. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and use my foam brush, pull that clean, dry it off. I'm going to grab another foam brush that's actually dry. Go ahead and pull some of that pigment off and bring it up here across the front. Yeah, I like that effect. That turned out pretty good. Much better than what I originally did. I'm pleased. Yeah, what do you think? We'll come back to it after it's dry and we'll do a little more touch up. But I'm pretty pleased with that result. Let's see. How are we doing? We still got enough thinner on here? Use a little bit more. There we are. It's around the edge. Once again, I'm going to kind of keep that over there. First up, I'm going to keep a little bit cleaner the closer you get to the round part where the turrets go. But up through here, I'm 100% going to make it nice and bare along the edge. Try to pull out a little bit there. And any one of my edges, actually, now that I think about it, I should kind of take that approach too. There we go. Kind of come up like this. Maybe a little bit there. And just kind of lightly come across now the top. There we go. Clean that off the thing. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Pretty pleased with how that one turned out. I think got some higher paint right down through here. Go ahead and pull that down. Just a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Very good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our other piece. There we go. Now, go ahead and grab this probably's got enough thinner on it for right now. Yeah. Making a mess is what it's doing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the same process. I'm going to start first by pulling up some of the paint in general. And let's kind of come around here, scrape up around our edges. Go far out over here, kind of push it over that way. Same thing here, just like that. Let's put our edge here. Very good. I like that. Okay. I don't know why that's satisfying, but it just is. Now we're just going to grab our dry brush, pull it across the top. Yeah, I like that. That turned out pretty good. And surprising. But it works. Or we know it works. So shouldn't be that surprising, Jordan. Alright. So let's go ahead and do the same concept. Kind of lift up any of the paint that we can find off the top here. Give some rando streaks. It seems a little thinner on this side, which is interesting to me. Just adding a little bit of that pigment over there. Catch along the edge here. And along the edge there. Try to get each one of these corners here. Just randomly over the top. Okay, let's see how that turned out. There's a lot of pigment on there. That's totally fine, actually. Yeah, I like how that turned out. Quite a bit. Okay. Now, okay, let's go ahead and get right up here. This one's no longer dry, but it's picking up a lot of paint and I have to do something about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dab it off as hard as I can. Alright. Should serve the purpose that I need. Start with coming up around the edge. Nice, I like that. And go. Okay. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. I like there's a little bit more paint up there, actually. Gives a little bit of character up there. Okay. Now, let's see how our first piece turned out now that it's been dried. And let's go ahead and apply some additional weathering without putting any additional thinner over the top. I want this to be a little on the drier side. And yeah, there's a little bit more paint that I want to pull off. So I'm going to go ahead and dab off my brush here. Now, I'm going to try to find some areas where just the slight dampness of the brush is going to be enough to like pull up the paint. To expose some corners and such. Just like that. Just kind of get some rough edges. Yeah, I like that. There's not a whole lot of paint on the Fett, on Fett's Vette at this point, you know, like, there's green, you could tell he matches armor, but it was after many battles and lots of atmospheric flight and such that, you know, the paint got worn down over time, so And remember, Boba was an ungenetically modified clone, so he aged normally. And so by the time we see him in Empire Strikes Back, you know, he's a good 20, 25 years old at that point. I'm going to grab a little bit of thinner here. Because not much was happening at that point. Yeah, if you see the ship, it's not the most colored up through this area, and so oh yeah, that was a perfect effect right there. Yeah, I like that. And just right through here, I think. Just gonna do some streaking and pulling. Very good. Very, very good. I like it. Yeah, that turned out pretty good. I really appreciate how that effect turned out. So that side is, I'm going to declare done. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more thinner here, and then get our brush dabbed off. A little bit more thinner. A little bit more for Santa Claus. A little bit more for Santa Claus. Okay. Let's find some areas where it would make sense to pull off the paint. I like the effect of how the paint stayed a little dark here around the edge of the panel there, the upraised panel. Ah, man, I got lucky with this with this overall, like, style of doing this, I guess. I don't know. But I'm pleased. Very, very pleased. Been really lucky with this model, and it's making me really love building it. Yeah, I took down a bunch of the paint there, and I think that's better. I get a little bit of streaking along that. There we go. Okay. Maybe a little through here. Let's go ahead and maybe just a little bit more thinner. Okay, and I think that is what we got. I'll just get this cleaned up here real fast. I'm going to go ahead and put these under... Man, it wouldn't be one of my episodes. I tell you, we just do it. I'm going to go ahead and put this under a fan for a minute just to let it dry, and we will be right back. Alright, y'all, parts are dry, and I gotta say, it's turned out really, really well. I'm pretty pleased with this whole effect. Let's go ahead and see how it looks when we put our pieces together here real quick. Kept the cowl without, or not the cowl, but the area around with the windows consistent on both sides, which is great. And it's going to be a bit of a finicky piece to put together eventually when we get there, which is going to be coming up here soon, actually. We're going to be able to start the assembly phase here soon. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to try to do that too much, but yeah, I got to say, everything turned out exactly what I was hoping for. I really appreciate the effect of how that turned out, and man, when you get lucky, and when you can repeat the same thing again, that's just skill now, I guess. Sure, I'll go with it. So, I think that's what we got for you today. In our next episode, we're going to go ahead and get some of our weathering done. I haven't done much of that other than what we've been doing here, and so we're going to be applying our Tamiya Weathering Master kits, and we're going to be getting some weathering in there. We're also going to be getting some Vallejo pigments, and we have a little bit of Vallejo oil streaking as well, some enamel streaking agents. So we're going to be doing some work on getting this thing oiled up and greased up and getting it all looking grosser, because this ship is coming along nicely, and we can't have it looking too clean now, can we? So... and that's what I got today for you, and I just want to say thank you. I know there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to check us out on Discord. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember that the Force will be with you always.